welcome to Clash of the Dice. I'm James.
I'm Joshua.
And this is episode 4 of our Path to Glory campaign for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. I am playing as Tzeentch Demons.
And I'm playing as Khorne Bloodbound.
And in this episode we have added more to our armies. I've taken a squad of Skyfires, Zangor Enlightened Skyfires.
And I have taken 5 Skull Reapers.
Yeah, I've actually got some mortal units to add to my warband. So let's see how we get on. Okay, so we're set up. We've got some bizarre deployment zones. So Joshua's got a deployment zone that's kind of a triangular shape from that corner to the middle and then back to that corner over there. And then I've got 2 triangles that start in the middle and come across to the middle and then back out again. So this triangle and this triangle. And the mission we have got is Meteor Shower. So from turn 3 onwards, it's going to be an objective point game. And we need to try and remember that around about turn 3, we need to place some objectives. So I think this is the first episode in the campaign where it hasn't been a kill point mission. So I'm pretty sure until the meteorites get placed, we'll be trying to slaughter each other as much as possible. We've got a big, massive blob of Khorne Bloodbound in the centre here. We've got a cowardly skull cannon skulking in the background over there.
He's not cowardly, he's trying to aim for the long-ranged bow and arrows that you've now got. So I'm scared of them, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. So I've got the skull cannon here to try and shoot him down.
With a forest and a big rock in the way. And then the tactically scheming demons of Tzeentch are secure behind 2 big rocks. So I've had to split my forces in 2, which I don't like doing, but Joshua's concentrated his in a big blob in the middle. Joshua finished setting up first, and he's decided he's going to go first.
Yep, I need to so I can get rid of those Skyfires.
Okay, so moving on to Khorne Bloodbound, turn 1. The twist is the one where everybody gets -1 to bravery, and my ruse is I've got my little charging dwarf again to remind me that I can make a counter charge if Joshua decides to charge one of my units.
Movement phase for the Khorne Bloodbound has been complete. The Skull Reapers, Harith and the Khorgorath have gone towards this side of the army, whilst the Blood Secretor, Blood Stoker, Blood Warriors and Blood Reavers have gone towards the other side of the army. And the Skull Cannon has just moved its maximum regular movement and is going to try and shoot at the Skyfires.
Yeah, because all of these have run, haven't they? So
yeah,
they can't charge, and these might be in charge range, but they can't charge because they've run. So onto the shooting phase. You've only got one thing that can shoot.
Yep, and he's just within range. I have checked. It's like just base to base.
Yep.
So 1 dice, needing 3s. Hits.
Hit.
Wounding on 3s. No wound.
Miss. Okay. And that's the end of the turn. So
yep.
Going on to Demons of Tzeentch, turn 1. Hero phase. These pink horrors are going to cast the Mystic Bolt onto the Blood Secretor. So they are just 18 inches away, or just under 18 inches away. So he doesn't affect them with his 16-inch re-rolling bubble. So this will go off on a 5.
Yeah,
because they're not next to a demon hero. I've put both of my demon heroes over here, which was kind of silly of me.
Yeah, pick out and...
But that is a pass,
yeah.
And that will do 1 mortal wound
okay.
onto your Blood Secretor. And then we'll have the Magister. He's going to cast Bolt of Change onto the Blood Reavers. So this will go off on a 7. And that passes, and it's a double. So I get to cast a second spell. So we'll start with the mortal wounds, which is D3. So that's 1. So one of them dies and gets turned into a Chaos Spawn. Place the Chaos Spawn, and now for a second spell, the Magister is going to cast Mystic Shield on the Chaos Spawn. So that will go off on a 6. And that just passes. I should have chosen different dice, because yeah, that's a 6. So that's 3 fate points. That's all my spells done. So now we're going to go on to the movement phase. In movement phase, the Skyfires have shot up onto this rock. The Exalted Flamer has moved across a bit. This pack of pink horrors have moved round. Epicac has moved a bit closer to the rock. I was hoping to get him close enough for his re-rolling wound rolls of 1 onto these flamers that have popped up here, but he's too far away. And the Herald on a disc has also popped up onto the rock. So we're going to go into the shooting phase, and we'll start with 5 pink horrors that are in range of the Blood Reavers, but it's only 5 of them that are in range of any enemies, so we'll get that done and out of the way first. So that killed off 2 Blood Reavers, so that's 3 in total gone from the Blood Reavers. Moving on to this pack of pink horrors are also going to shoot at the Blood Reavers, so that's 10 attacks, 4s and 4s. Only 2 wounded, and Joshua made 1 save, so that's just 1 more gone. We go on to the Exalted Flamer. He's going to shoot at the Blood Reavers as well. Exalted Flamer didn't do anything. Magister killed 2 with 1 shot. Moving over to the Flamers. They are going to try and flame the Skull Takers.
Skull Reapers.
Skull Reapers. So 2 lots of flame got through on the Skull Reapers, and that'll do D3 damage each. Ooh. For 2 lots of 3.
So that's 2 dead. 2 have been deaded.
Just put a Brimstone Horror next to them, just as a reminder that Capricious Warp Flame is in effect at the end of the shooting phase. Moving on to the Herald on the disc. He's going to try and flame the Skull Reapers as well. And both missed. So now moving on to the Skyfires. Now I'm going to do these one at a time, because they're going to be shooting at the Bloodsecrator, and an unmodified roll of a 6 auto wounds for D3 wounds. So with my Fate dice, Destiny dice rather, I'm going to use the 6 for the first one, which is not the AV Arc. I'm going to use this one. The AV Arc is the one in the middle. So he is automatically hit using my Destiny dice, and I can use a Destiny dice for the number of wounds that he takes, because it's not a spell. You can't use Destiny dice for wounds inflicted by spells, but you can on other random damage weapons. So I'm going to use a 5.
Did I get a save?
No, they're mortal wounds, straight through to wounds. So you don't get a save. The attack sequence ends if it's a 6, and you go straight onto mortal wounds. So I'm going to use a 5 for 3 mortal wounds.
Okay.
So that puts him down to 1 wound left. So there's no 6s left in my Destiny dice. So with that in mind, we're going to start shooting at them, and we're going to be at -1 to hit, because he's a character with at least 2 units consisting of more than 3 models. So we're going to be at -1 to hit. We'll start with the AV Arc. So usually Skyfires hit on 4s. The AV Arc gets +1 to hit, so that puts it down to 3s, but then with Lookout Sir it's back up to 4s again. So 1 attack, and that's a miss, and then the other Skyfire hits on a 5. Now I might use a Destiny dice for that. I'll use the 5. And then this will wound on a 3. And I might use a 4 for that. So it's auto wounded, well it's wounded, and this is -1 rend. And
This is 4 up save.
He gets 4 up armor save.
He saves it.
So that's always the 2 Destiny dice. Okay, but at least it's down to 1 wound left. Right, that's the end of the shooting phase. So moving on to the charge phase. There is no, I don't think I want to do any charging, so this guy's just going to pile in on the Blood Reavers. Forgot the Capricious Warp Flame, so 4 up, this will do D3 damage on a 1. Yeah, we need to have a conversation about how that's going to go. That's a 3, so nothing happens. 2d6 attacks. 11. Ooh, okay, 11 attacks on the Blood Reavers. The Tzeentch Chaos Spawn killed off 2 more Blood Reavers after 11 attacks. So that is the end. Oh no, you get to fight back.
Yes, I do.
To pile in and fight with.
So pile in with the Blood Reavers.
Yep. The Chieftain here will get 4 attacks with his Meat Ripper axe, and then 7 others are in range with their own weapons.
Reaver Blades.
Yeah, the Reaver Blades. These 4 here are out of range.
So this is 21 attacks with the Reaver Blades.
4 got through, so 4 5-up saves on the Chaos Spawn. And he makes them all.
1 failed. 1 was a 4.
Oh yeah, sorry, 1 was a 4. Okay, so the Chaos Spawn takes 1 wound.
1 wound from the Reaver Blades, and now the Meat Ripper axe.
Yep.
This is 4 dice needing 4s. That's
2 hits.
2 hits. Wounding on 4s. 1 wound.
One wound.
-1 rend.
So this will be a 6.
And that's 1 damage as well.
Okay, so 2 wounds, he's down to 3 left. Right. Onto the battle shock phase, the Blood Reavers lost 8, but they're within 6 inches of the Bloodsea Crater, who is a hero. So Joshua has used a command point for Inspiring Presence, so the Blood Reavers are going to automatically pass their battle shock. Right, on to rolling off for the next turn.
Yep.
4.
No one ties. 3! No!
I get double turn. Start the hero phase with the Herald on the disc. He's going to cast Blue Fires of Tzeentch onto the Skull Reapers. So this will go up on a 4, which passes. And then we've got 9 dice. And then Joshua rolls a dice. I roll mine 9 dice. And however many matches is mortal wounds on the target unit.
1.
1s. And there's 2 1s. There and there. So that's 2 mortal wounds. These pink horrors are going to cast Arcane Bolt on them. There's one with 1 wound left, so hopefully this will finish them. Finish that one off. This will be going off on a 4 because they're within so many inches of Epicac. They get the boost from Epicac. And that definitely passes. So this will be D3 mortal wounds for 3. So that kills off him and puts another one down to 1 wound left. And put it on the Iron Bearer. Okay. Moving on to the Magister, he is going to cast Bolt of Change onto the Blood Reavers. That goes off on an 11 for D3 mortal wounds for 1. So that will kill a Blood Reaver and bring in another Chaos Spawn. Chaos Spawn ripples into being from the writhing corpse of the Blood Reaver. These pink horrors are going to cast Mystic Shield onto the already spawned spawn. So this will be a 6. Nope, that fails. Movement phase. This pack of pink horrors has moved forwards. Epicac has kept pace with them, so they're within his 3-inch bubble to reroll wound rolls of 1. Flame stayed where they are. Herald on a disc stayed where he is. The Exalted Flamer has moved up onto the rock. And everybody else has stayed where they are as well. So moving on to the shooting phase, we're going to kick things off with the Magister shooting at the Blood Reavers. So the Magister killed 1 Blood Reaver, these pink horrors took out another 3, and these pink horrors took out another 3. Epicac did his first action of the game, his first offensive action of the game, and shot at the Blood Reavers and didn't do anything. The 3 regular flamers are now going to spout out at the Skull Reapers. So 3 wounds got through at D3 damage a pop. For 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's the unit wiped. The Exalted Flamer is going to shoot at the Blood Warriors, try and whittle them down a little bit. So that killed 2, put 1 down to 1 wound left, and again, the little Brimstone Horrors there just to remind us that Capricious Warp Flame is a thing at the end of the shooting phase. We'll move on to the Skyfires next, and the Skyfires are going to try and polish off the Bloodsea Crater. So we'll do the 2 regular Skyfires first. This will be hit on 5s. That is 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. That's a 3. So -1 rend, 4 up. That's a pass. And then the Aviarch will hit on a 4. That's a hit. Wounds on a 3. That's a wound. Another 4 up. And he saves it. I think that's all my shooting. So moving on to the charge phase. Oh yeah, end of shooting phase. So let's see what happens with Capricious Warp Flame. They take another D3 wounds. For 1. So that last one did. There's going to be no charging because I don't want to. And this Chaos Spawn is just going to pile in on the Blood Reavers thusly. And then we will kick things off with the wounded Chaos Spawn attacking the Blood Reavers for 4 attacks. But this is hitting on 3s and wounding on 3s because it's a double. 3 hit, 2 wound, no, 1 wound, and 1 dies. The Blood Reavers piled in on the blue, the newly spawned Chaos Spawn, and took it down to 2 wounds. So now the Chaos Spawn is going to fight back with 6 attacks. The Chaos Spawn fought back and didn't do any damage. Right, so that's Battle Shock test now, yes?
Yep, in which all of them will run away.
You're not going to pay a command point? Oh,
I can't.
You haven't got a command point to spend, have you? Okay. We just did the Battle Shock off camera for the Blood Warriors and they passed. So going on to Blades of Khorne, turn 2.
Skull Cannon is still advancing slowly forwards. The Blood Secretor, Blood Stoker, and the 2 Blood Warriors that are remaining move towards the spawn. And the Khorgorath and Harith have moved towards the Flamers because they just completely slaughtered a unit of
Skull Reapers.
Yeah, Skull Reapers, I forgot their name there. And I have summoned in a Bloodmaster.
Who has got his eyes on the Skyfires. Okay, so moving into the charge phase.
Shooting phase.
Moving into the shooting phase. I keep forgetting you've got a shooting phase. Skull Cannon shooting at the Skyfires.
So, hitting on 3s.
That wasn't really worth filming, that was it?
No.
At the end of the charge phase, both Harith and the Khorgorath failed their charges and couldn't get anywhere near the Flamers. The Blood Secretor has got into combat with the 2 Chaos Spawn, as has Farrell. And the Blood Warriors have got into combat with the Exalted Flamer, and the one that Joshua really wanted to do was get the Blood Master, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Into combat with the Skyfires, but he failed, and even after a command point reroll, he still failed. So, on to the combat phase. Who are you fighting with first? Oh yeah, and I decided to not use my counter charge.
Who am I fighting with first? Well, I think we need to attack with the Blood Secretor.
Blood Secretor attacked the Chaos Spawn on 3 wounds left, and did nothing. So now I get to choose a unit to attack with. I think we'll go for the Exalted Flamer on the 2 Chaos Warriors. A little bit of history repeating itself. The Exalted Flamer attacked the Blood Warriors, did no damage, but they got a 6 for a saving throw, so did a mortal wound back on the Exalted Flamer. So next unit to attack with, please, sir.
Okay, Bloodstoker. I've changed what my attacking plan was going to be. My plan was going to be Blood Whip on that thing and the sword in that thing, but now it's going to be sword on that thing and whip on that thing.
Phil managed to kill off the Blue Chaos Spawn, but failed to do any damage with the whip on the original Chaos Spawn. So now the Chaos Spawn is going to attack back on the Blood Secretor for 2d6 attacks. For 6, and that's a double. 2 wounds I got through on the Blood Secretor, 2 3-up saves.
No!
You fail 1. The Blood Secretor falls. That last wound is taken. And finally, the Blood Warriors attacked the Exalted Flamer and took another wound off it, so it's down to 2 wounds left. Right, rolling got no Battle Shock? There's no Battle Shock to take, is there? No. So on to roll off the next turn.
I need this turn.
2. Yep, and now there's going to be some meteorite strikes. So meteorites have come in, and there's an objective in this corner over where Epic Hack and the Flamers and the Pink Horrors are. There's another meteorite in this corner. This one's probably going to get contested because there's going to be probably some more summoning from this Bloodmaster. So this one's probably going to be contested, and the other one is right the way over near where the Skull Cannon is. So now it's an objective game to see who controls the most objectives at the end of the 5th battle round. Harith and the Khorgorath have moved forwards towards the Flamers. No movement in the centre because people are locked up in combat. The Bloodmaster has moved towards the Skyfires, and a unit of 5 Bloodletters has been summoned in right next to this objective here. The Skull Cannon staying still because it's already within 6 inches of the centre of that objective over there. So currently Joshua's controlling 2 objectives and I'm controlling 1 with Epic Hack.
Shooting time!
Yep, Khorne shooting phase, and Skull Cannon shooting at...
The Skyfires.
Okay.
So this is 1 dice and 3.
And that's another miss.
The tentacles from the Khorne, because he can shoot this time.
Yeah, so that's
That is
3 attacks.
3 attacks, 3 hits.
1 hit.
4's to wound.
No wounds. Maybe there's a reason why Khorne don't have any shooting weapons, because they're not very good at shooting.
Anyway, moving on to the charge phase.
Harif and the Khorne have made it into combat with the Flamers. The Bloodmaster failed his charge up the mountain, and the Bloodletter's staying still to secure the objective.
Okay, well, I think we'll start with the Khorne.
So the Khorne single-handedly wiped out the Flamers. Exalted Flamer had to go at the Blood Reavers and did nothing, so now Farrell is going to attack...
Well, he's going to pile in there.
The Chaos Spawn. Farrell took a wound off the Tzeentch Spawn, who is now going to fight back for 10 attacks, hitting on 3s and wounding on 3s. Chaos Spawn took 2 wounds off Farrell, so now on to you. You've got your Blood Warriors.
So this is 5 attacks with the Goraxes. That is 2 hits, wounding on 4s, no wounds.
Okay. Battle Shock? No Battle Shock today? I haven't got any more units that can pile in an attack, because the Herald on a Disc is more than 3 inches away, as is everybody else.
No Battle Shock to take.
So no Battle Shock to take. So on to Tzeentch, turn 3. Start the hero phase with the Magister casting Bolt of Change onto the Bloodletters, which fails. We'll then move on to these Pink Horrors casting Arcane Bolt onto Phil. That's a pass, and that's D3 mortal wounds because it's a 10. Well, actually, it's 11. So D3 mortal wounds on Phil for 2, so it puts him down to 1 wound left. And then we'll use Blue Fires of Tzeentch from the Herald on a Disc down onto your Warlord. Change of plan. Herald on a Disc is going to use Unchecked Mutation, and he's going to use his Arcane Tome to cast this. So 3 dice, and I need a 7. And that goes off. And this will do D3 mortal wounds on Harif for 1. And now I roll a die. If it's a 5 or more, he takes another mortal wound. And it's not. So he takes 1 mortal wound. I might have been better sticking with Blue Fires of Tzeentch, but there we go. Such is Tzeentch's fickle nature. Pink Horrors cast Mystic Shield onto the Exalted Flamer, and that is the end of the hero phase. So moving on to the movement phase. In the movement phase, Epicac and the Pink Horrors have moved around closer to get to the objective. These Pink Horrors and the Magister have moved around to be able to shoot at the Bloodletters that are controlling that objective. So moving on to the shooting phase. So far, not so good. The Magister shot at the Bloodletters and didn't do anything, and then these Pink Horrors shot at the Bloodletters. One of them wounded, but the wound was saved. So far, no damage on the Bloodletters defending that objective. We'll move on to the Exalted Flamer, who's in combat with the Blood Warriors. The Exalted Flamer managed to kill off 1 Blood Warrior and left the Chaos Champion left with 1 wound and Capricious Walk Flame. Over here, both of the Heralds can see the enemy general, so they're both going to shoot at Harif. Epicac managed to take 1 wound off his counterpart, but the Herald on the Disc missed. 5 of these Pink Horrors were within range of Phil, the Bloodstoker, and managed to finish him off, leaving this Chaos Spawn free to go wherever he likes. And now the only unit left to shoot is the Skyfires, and I'm just going to take a minute to work out what I'm going to do with them. In the end, the Skyfires shot at the Bloodmaster and took 2 wounds off him. That's the end of the shooting phase, so we'll do the Capricious Walk Flame on this Chaos Champion, and nothing happens. Into the charge phase, and surprise shock horror, I'm actually making a charge. The Skyfires are going to charge the Bloodmaster. Start the combat phase. The Skyfires are going to go first, and because no units within 3 inches of them have already attacked, I get to reroll hit and wound rolls. And with a combination of bow staves, vicious beaks, and attacks from the discs, the Skyfires managed to polish off the Bloodmaster. So now on to the Chaos Champion.
Also, really, it was only the beaks and the horns that did anything.
Yeah, it was really just the discs that did any damage. So,
there's your dice.
Chaos Champion
Yep.
on the Exalted Flamer. Another wound off the Exalted Flamer, so the Exalted Flamer is going to fight back. Exalted Flamer fought back and completely missed. And I completely forgot about the Chaos Spawn, sat in the middle of the field doing nothing, but we'll have to forget that for now. Right, so rolling off for the next turn. I could do with winning this. 3.
5.
Khorne movement phase. The Khorgorath, for some strange obscure reason, has backed off down the hill. Hareth has moved forwards towards the objective, and he's summoned in another Bloodmaster to help him out over near this objective. Right, so shooting phase. So the one and only time we didn't bother to film the skull cannon, it managed to kill a Skyfire. Exactly enough damage done to kill off one. Charge phase. In the charge phase, the Bloodmaster failed his charge. Hareth also failed his charge by a Gnat's Whisker, and the Khorgorath failed to charge. So going into the ongoing combat with the Chaos Champion and the Exalted Flamer.
So far we've got 2 hits. Winning on 4s, 1 wound.
Exalted Flamer saved the 1 wound that got through, so he's going to fight back. 5s and 3s. 1 hit. No wounds. And that's it, done. There is no battle shock to take. Oh, there is battle shock to take here. Use one of these 2s to automatically pass the battle shock. Epikak is going to cast Pink Fires of Tzeentch onto Hareth, and he's going to use his Arcane Tome. We need a 9. And that's a fail! That's a shame. The Pink Horrors are going to cast Arcane Bolt onto Hareth, and that'll go off on a 4. And that's a pass on an 11, so that's D3 mortal wounds. For 1. Puts him down to 2 left. And we'll do Blue Fires of Tzeentch from this Herald onto Hareth. So this Herald has turned out to be the true hero, rather than Epikak. Joshua rolled a 6, and I matched that twice, so that's 2 mortal wounds on Hareth, which finishes him off. Magister is going to cast Bolt of Change onto Big Horrible Nasties over here. Bloodletters. Goes off on a 7. And that's a fail. In the movement phase, Epikak and these Pink Horrors have moved around to consolidate onto this objective here and hopefully take down that big nasty beastie over there. Again, Herald on the disc staying still up here. The Chaos Spawn has moved towards the Blood Warrior. Over here, these Pink Horrors have moved towards the objective, and the Skyfires have moved over towards the Skull Cannon. And at the end of the phase, some Blue Horrors were summoned in by the Magister, again to assist their bigger pink offspring, brothers, whatever they are, in an attempt to drive these Bloodletters off this objective. Inspired on by Epikak, the shooting over on the left flank has gone considerably better than the last turn of shooting over on the right flank, and between them, both Heralds and the 10 Pink Horrors have managed to take out the Bloodmaster. Now moving over to the Exalted Flamer in the middle, he's going to try and take that last 1 remaining wound off the Chaos Champion. And the Walk Flame lashes out from the Exalted Flamer and takes the last wound off the Chaos Champion. So now moving over to here, we'll start with the Magister into the Bloodletters, followed by the Pink Horrors and then the Blue Horrors. So after everything is shot out, there is still 1 Bloodletter remaining near that objective, and he's got a gore-soaked icon. So that now leaves me with a decision. Do I direct some of the fire from the Skyfires in here to try and finish them off and stop them from summoning more in? Or do I concentrate on my primary objective, which is to take out the Skull Cannon? And I think we just go for the Skull Cannon. So it wouldn't have made any difference anyway, because they both missed. Right, going on to the charge phase. At the end of the charge phase, the Skyfires managed to charge up and over the Skull Cannon and are now closer to that objective, but that's obviously subject to attacks being finalised. And the Pink Horrors successfully charged the Bloodletter. So we're going to start off with the Skyfires. So the Skyfires are going to attack the Skull Cannon, and again, with their visions of the future, or whatever the ability is, re-rolling to hit and re-rolling to wound. So after all the attacks with re-rolling to hit, re-rolling to wound, I took 2 wounds off the Skull Cannon. The Bloodletter is going to attack the Pink Horrors. Bloodletter did no damage to the Pink Horrors, and after piling in, we can get 7 attacks on the Bloodletter, courtesy of the Iridescent Horror over here, and they managed to take the last Bloodletter out. Skull Cannon fought back against the Skyfires and did no damage. So, are we now rolling off for the next turn? I've lost track of where we are.
Yep.
Yep.
And I win ties.
4. 2. Turn 5, we're going to start with the Herald, and he's going to cast Blue Fires of Tzeentch onto the Khorne, which gets off. Joshua rolled a 4, and I didn't roll any. So, no mortal wounds inflicted from Blue Fires of Tzeentch onto the Khorne. We'll go for Arcane Bolt from the Blue Horrors onto the Khorne.
Pink Horrors.
Pink Horrors. And that only just passed, because that's a 4. They get +1 because they're right next to Epic Axe, so that makes it 5. So this will do a mortal wound onto the Khorne, which puts it down to 7.
Yeah.
End of the movement phase, and the Pink Horrors with Epic Axe have been Tzeentchy and sneaky and have moved further around to consolidate onto this objective here to make it more difficult for the Khorne to get at them. Over here, the Tzeentch Chaos Spawn has moved over towards the Skull Cannon. He's totally not moved away from the Khorne at all. He's just conveniently moving towards the Skull Cannon.
No, you're moving away from it.
And then these Pink Horrors have moved forwards so that they can shoot at the Skull Cannon, and the Blue Horrors have moved forwards again to help consolidate this objective. The Magister has moved forwards, but he's going to be out of shooting range, and there's no point in running him. So going on to said shooting phase, I think we'll kick things off with the Skyfires. The Aviarch shot at the Skull Cannon and missed. The regular Skyfire shot at it, got a 6 and inflicted 3 mortal wounds. Moving on to the Pink Horrors. They can all see it and they're all going to shoot at it. Pink Horrors shot, wounded it twice but made both the saves. This Exalted Flamer is going to shoot at the Khorne. The Exalted Flamer took it down to just 2 wounds left. Moving on to the Herald on the disc, he's going to shoot at it with his flamey stuff. And the Herald managed to take 1 more wound off, so it's down to 1 wound left. That is the end of my shooting phase, so Capricious Walk Flame. Yep, it's dead. 4, it inflicts D3 mortal wounds, and it's only got 1 wound left, so the Khorne falls. On to the charge phase. The Pink Horror is going to try and charge the Skull Cannon. This is a 10-inch charge. That's a 7. I may as well command point it. And that's a 5, so that's a failed charge. So the Skyfires are going to see if they can polish off the last 2 remaining wounds on the Skull Cannon. And the Skyfires manage to take the last remaining wounds off the Skull Cannon. So at the end of turn 5, because the Khorne army has been wiped out.
I still can use my Brass Skull Meteor, which I really still want to do. I want to absolutely annihilate your shit.
Well, what can I say?
I didn't get to use my Skull Reapers.
You got to use them. You got to move them. That's using them.
I didn't get to use the weapons from my Skull Reapers.
I was a little bit underwhelmed by my Skyfires. They started off okay, but I had Destiny dice to help.
There weren't as many 6s as you had hoped.
No, there weren't as many 6s. Their shooting was a little underwhelming. In close combat, they were surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too good.
When they get to re-roll hit and wound, if nothing within 3 inches of them is fought, I quite like that. But yeah, their shooting left a little to be desired. But yeah, other than that, I think you made the tactical error of, for some reason, you moved your Khorne back down the hill backwards, and I don't understand why.
Well, simply was because then that way I was going to go for the Chaos Spawn, but that's why I moved it down the hill so I could go for the Chaos Spawn and kill it because it'd been alive for, in my opinion, too long. The lifespan of a Chaos Spawn is 20 minutes, not 4 battle rounds.
Well, that aside, the objective of the mission was to capture the objective. So yeah, you reversed away from it. I think if you'd have gone down and charged, you could possibly that things may have turned out a little bit different. But anyway, so yeah, we've now got one more battle to fight. We need to recruit some more units after that battle. We've got another battle to fight where we can recruit our 5th and final units.
6th and final unit, you mean?
No, 5th. 5 battles, 5 units.
I thought you need 6 units.
No, 5. And then the 6th battle is the decider, because after in a Path to Glory campaign, whoever recruits 5 units then has to win 1 more battle, and that then is the decider for the campaign. So yeah, recruit a unit from this battle, recruit a unit after the next battle, and then a final battle. And then we're going to do a full-on game of Age of Sigmar using Tzeentch versus Khorne, and hopefully I'll be able to use something, a couple of nice big and yeah, visually good units on the table at least. But until then, please continue to like,
Comment,
and subscribe, and God bless.